Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I, I wasn't really uploading anything recently. The reason for that was there was a lot of family stuff going on, and I had to spend time with them during the holidays. So I played a lot of Monster Hunter lately, and I found some really cool Elder Dragons. Most Elder Dragons were brought back in Monster Hunter Generations, and a lot of cool ones, but in this video I will list some of the most memorable Elder Dragons. If you're new to Monster Hunter, like me, you're probably wondering, what is an Elder Dragon? Well, according to the wiki, it states, Elder Dragons are a class of monsters introduced in the first generation. This class is made up of rare, exclusive monsters that have lived since ancient times. These monsters are able to bring destruction to whole ecosystems. And a quick disclaimer, I do not own any of these clips. I will put their channels in the description. Moving on to one of the first Elder Dragons that had ever existed. You guessed it, the Kirin. The Kirin was one of the first Elder Dragons to come to Monster Hunter series. Kirin was the first introduced in Monster Hunter Fates Unite. They brought this mystic elder in Monster Hunter Gen 2, but they fixed its AI though a bit. Instead of it running into walls, the design really didn't change at all, though it still was a fun fight. If there was a goal to make an Elder Dragon that can be remembered, they nailed it. So, moving on to yet another Elder Dragon. The Teostra. Where do I begin? The Teostra, out of the 5, was definitely a fight to remember. First introduced in Monster Hunter Fates Unite 2. It wasn't really a that big of a deal back then. It only fired a blast around it by making it cloak itself with floating gunpowder and igniting it from making sparks from its mouth. And that's what makes a good Elder Dragon. They changed it in Monster Hunter Generations to be even more ignoring. So, moving on to the 3rd gen. So what does make this Elder Dragon so special? Well, it uses wind to make it fly, and can change thunderstorms to make it powerful gusts of wind, turning a gentle breeze into a powerful beam. The fight was boring. All you have to do was wail on it when it doesn't move, or for 2 minutes straight until you topple it, while it throws powerful gusts of wind that move throughout the stage. But after that, it starts to move around the stage, levitating off the ground, making it difficult to hit it. But it's not about the fight, it's about the way they introduce that monster, giving the feeling of facing something fierce, something that seems like a powerful god of the skies. So that's why I have this monster on the list. This monster was first introduced in Monster Hunter Portable 2. That's what it's actually called. So anyways, moving on to the next monster. More current time. This monster, Narcoccos, is a boss that you fight when low rank and high rank in Monster Hunter Generations. I still have this game forehand of my experience with the battle. I thought it was fun, but the first time it seemed like kind of annoying and I was like kind of scared to face it alone, but afterwards, on my second time of playing the game, I wanted to face this by myself, making it a challenge for me to beat the two-headed carcass. So what makes this monster seem so memorable is that you don't expect anything firsthand, but when you get into the game more, you'll find out a dark secret that you never knew. It seems that the two heads are actually its main body part, but I just realized that the two heads are just arms that it uses to control throughout the stage. And its head is actually on the body. You can see it a little bit when you're HR3, when you make it flee and completing the mission, but you have to slay it in the higher rank to prove that you are one of the strongest hunters in the guild. So, but what also, this another feature that this monster has, and I didn't get it to shoot laser out of his head, but I got footage of it shooting lasers out of its arms, giving that dragon element to I forgot what it was called, but I think it gives you Dragon Blight. And that makes the dragon attacks more powerful. Moving on to the next monster. The Kyorubo, how do you pronounce it? The Kyoaruboro. I'm just gonna call it Rubo-Oru. A strong elder dragon that can shoot beams of flames on its body to make armor. Not really used for attacks. For the sheer size of this thing, it stays idle until you hit its weak spot points, like the legs and the tail. If you're standing behind this thing, it will whip its tail around and sending you flying. It's not really hard, but it looks cool. You cannot deny that. This monster was introduced in Monster Hunter Frontier X. This monster was over-exaggerated in the trailer, but was a really good fight, even. But it seems much bigger, but actually, I thought it was going to be bigger too, but it seemed smaller than I expected. And that's what happens when you keep your hopes too high. But it's a really good fight though, and it does get bigger, like by eating the terrain too, but eventually get big enough that blow gusts of wind just like the other monsters and making it propel itself in the air. All you have to do is just wail on it and then it will eventually go down. It is, well, special in its own way because it only stands out by eating the terrain, and no other monster actually does that, making it a fight to remember.